1, 2, 1, 2, testing. Yeah, fair. Garcia on the ball, flicks it into Robinson, she goes round the corner and Chiefs are in the corner. Perfect. The main thing we've learned here is I'm not very good at sticking things to the page.
Jojo, so obviously the weekend saw the end of the winning streak we was on. How's mood in the camp been since then?
Yeah, so the mood hasn't really changed. I think we were definitely disappointed with the loss. It was a tough game. We went into the first half with points on the board. We were winning, and just the change in momentum. Saracens is a strong side, and they were able to come away with the win. So I think everyone was disappointed. We went over analysis. We're ready for this weekend, so we're definitely focused for the next game.
And you must still be pretty, as a squad, pleased with the way that you fought back. They come out the blocks pretty quickly, didn't they? But to fight back, and that has been a sign of what we've done this season, a lot of fighting back from positions.
Yeah, no, I think that, and then also just the versatility in our side. We had some changes in different positions, and that didn't change anything with our game plan.
And obviously now coming up towards the end of the third month you've been here, playing in Exeter, in Devon. What have you made of Exeter Chiefs and Devon itself living here?
Yeah, well, to start off, everyone's been so welcoming from the very first week that we got here, myself and the other two players. And it's a beautiful city. I love the sunshine, so definitely appreciating a little bit less rain lately and the weather just getting better. But everyone's so welcoming, and it's really flown by.
And moving on to the rugby, and this weekend, Loughborough Lightning coming down here to Sandy Park. What we know will be a tough contest, but could be a season-defining game, couldn't it? Yeah,
definitely. I think with the points being so close, we only have 3 games left, and that win is definitely important to make it into the playoff, but also keeping them from getting bonus points, things like that. So there's a lot at play. I think we're really excited that it's a home game. A lot of support behind us being here and not on the road. So it's going to be a really great game to watch.
And we know they've got threats. We know Emily Scarrett in there, for example. Where else do you see threats there across the board from them? They're quite an impressive lineup, aren't they?
Yeah. And the last time that we played them, it was such a close game. So I think we're excited just for the rematch for this weekend.
And Susie talked previously just about the ambition of the club. Is that something that kind of pushed that move here? You saw exactly what was being built here and what the guys have laid the foundations for over the last kind of 15, 20 years.
Yeah, I think it was definitely exciting. I've followed the league prior to this, but especially with Exeter having 3 of the US teammates here previous, like from the August from when the season started, was really exciting to follow that and just see how cohesive the team has gotten, and just really enjoyed that time. So yeah, I think I had just the excitement to come here and play some rugby, since in the US we don't really have anything going on right now. So it was great.
And talking of that, playing rugby, obviously we had the news a few weeks ago about the cancellation of the World Cup, which must be devastating for yourself and other internationals. But the great news about obviously what World Rugby are doing with the 15s competition going forward, and what your thoughts are on that, really.
Yeah, so I think, it is a little disappointing. I think that changes a lot of people's plans, puts things on hold. Just pushing that back a year, but that also allows us some time with such a huge break in play to prepare for next year. And then with 2023 and everything going on, it's so exciting for the growth of the game in the future.
And it could be huge. Well, this year it's been talked about the fact that women's rugby is going to be televised, our Six Nations over here. Just how do you see that? Obviously the growth of what the Premier 15s has been like this season in such a competitive league. It could be great for the growth of the game, couldn't it?
Oh, definitely. And I think just the visibility to have more people available to watch our games and have things streamed is going to grow that. And I think even in the US there's been a lot of interest in just keeping up with the league. So definitely exciting to be playing right now.
So Susie, almost a week since the clash with Saracens. How have the reviews gone since then, and what's the message to the girls been after that game?
Well, the general feeling is disappointment, really, because we had opportunities, we created opportunities, and then we just didn't convert them, especially in that second half. So, disappointment. But you've got to move on and prep for Loughborough. So that's what we've had a look back at what we did, and then we've obviously looked forward to what's coming on Saturday.
And what you must have been and looked at positively, the fight back in that first half after Saracens come flying out of the gates, didn't they? So to fight back again, showing that heart must have been good.
Yeah, it was. It was. I think, I don't know, it's funny when you go in 21-10 up at half time, isn't it, against a team like Saracens, and who can make the better adjustments or the tweaks and stuff. And they did, and Zoe Harrison was outstanding on the day at 10 and kind of kicked us around the field, which was not unexpected. And they got the better of us. So, yeah, there was some good stuff. There was, our girls show amazing fight every single week. But, at the start of the season, we'd probably have had less expectation, but that's why we're so disappointed. But the best thing about the league at the moment is you get to go again against a really good side a week later, and that's what's important.
And as you were saying then, it must have been the mood in camp, even though that obviously stopped the end of the winning streak, must still be very positive in what has been a really impressive start to the year, as well.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we as you know, we've lost Taylor, sadly, and she won't be playing for us again this season. And the girls rally about in that. Pat moving to 10, we've had a bit more time with her now at 10. Flo's been away on England camp, so we haven't had so much time with Flo. But all clubs are facing kind of challenges, and it's what we do with those challenges to be more. I guess the invitation to the girls on Saturday is to be more accurate when we get those opportunities, because against good sides they don't come around that often. So if we can be more accurate and clinical, and especially in the attacking, the red zone, if you want to call it that, then I think hopefully we'll do well on Saturday.
And challenges think I'm much bigger than another top 4 rival, a team full of stars, including the likes of Emily Scarrett, who I'm sure your side are going to be relishing coming up against. Yeah,
definitely, and they've got outstanding players. They've got a good, well-drilled pack. Apparently, Sarah Hunter's back this weekend, Joy, quality player. So yeah, really quality pack. Lark Davis, England hooker, absolutely world class. And then couple that with Helena Rowland and Skaz, in the backs line, and it comes again, doesn't it? All these teams are full of really quality players, and the girls are really enjoying analysing them and seeing how we can potentially unravel these good sides. And the excitement is palpable every single week. Oh, what can we do? What should we do this week? What should we do? And for that's just brilliant. For us, it's brilliant because working out, it's like a game of chess, isn't it? What can we do to, exploit an opportunity? So, yeah, all very excited.
And talking about international quality, you must have been very impressed to have seen 3 of your side, being called up to Six Nations squads as well over the last couple of days.
Yeah, the girls are doing really well, and like Laura is going to get her first start for the club on Saturday, and she's in the Ireland squad for next weekend, and like Merrin's been off with England, honestly, and then the others with Wales. So there's loads going on. And I guess the challenge, again, for every club is, they're off with their international sides, they come back in, and then they're off and they're back in. Who can be most consistent with what we're doing when we're actually in our club shirt? But, every time they get on the field in a Chiefs shirt, they give it absolutely everything, and that's the most we can ask for.
And talking of them changes, any other changes we can see apart from Laura coming in?
No, I don't think so. No, Laura's, she's been training really well. She really does deserve an opportunity. So just a bit of a mix-up back there. But apart from that, no. Quite consistent again.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's 150 years to the day since the first ever international rugby match was played between England and Scotland, and we all know how that rivalry's turned out. The match today is another rivalry, although very much in its infancy here at Sandy Park, as Exeter Chiefs take on Loughborough Lightning in a huge clash in the Allianz Premier 15s. Loughborough know that a victory today will secure their place in the top 4, whilst for Chiefs it's win or bust as far as their playoff hopes go in their debut campaign. My name's Harry Scott Munro, and joining me in the commentary box today is Taylor Black. Taylor, thank you very much for joining me. It should be a fantastic encounter today.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Thank you for having me.
So, looking back at last weekend then, both teams, Exeter and Loughborough, were in fantastic form up until those games. Exeter going down 34-21 away at Saracens, and Loughborough's winning streak of 4 games coming to an end with a 36-14 defeat to playoff rivals Wasps. For the Chiefs camp this week, how much have they taken from that performance against Sarries being ahead at half time, and What do you think they're going to take into today's game?
There's definitely a lot to learn from last week's game. I think it's going to put out a great performance from both sides since, I mean, we're both hurting. It's a tough to lose such a long streak of wins. So coming into this game, we're definitely going to be looking for continuing to build that connection amongst the team. There's a lot of people playing out of positions, new connections that had to be built, so it's looking good for this week.
And last time we played Loughborough back in December was a really close game up there, a 14-7 defeat, and Susie said after full time that it was one that she felt got away from her side. Come on leaps and bounds since then, obviously that 7-game unbeaten run. For you personally, obviously sadly injuries ruled you out for the rest of the season, but how much have you enjoyed your time here so far?
I'm incredibly grateful to be able to play over here. I would have to agree with Susie from last time we played them. The game did get away from us, so there's a lot that we're pulling away from last time. We know what we're expecting, and yeah, we're looking to build, continue to get better, and we're looking to put on a great performance for today.
Well, today's match at Sandy Park is the later kickoff today in the Allianz Premier 15s. Let's just quickly run you through the other scores on the doors. In that huge clash at the top of the table, Saracens are 7-3 up against Harlequins. Sale Sharks are down 33-0 to Wasps, and DMP, Durham Sharks and Gloucester Hartpury are drawing 7-all at the moment in their game. Taylor, looking back at today's game then at Sandy Park, there's experience all over the pitch. Which players do you think we should be keeping an eye out for?
From the Exeter side, I wish I could shout out everyone. I think everyone's capable of putting on a great show today. I think somebody to look out for, obviously Kate's playing at 13 again. She'll be a massive threat and she'll definitely hold her ground well there. As well as Laura, I'm really excited to have her start on the wing for the first time. I think she's an incredible player, called up for Ireland at the Six Nations, so she'll be great.
And it's been a fantastic week for her as well. Obviously, first start for the club, Ireland call up for the Six Nations. Maren Doidge and Flo Robinson obviously in the extended training squad for England for that tournament, and Abby Fleming and Niamh Terry in the Wales set up as well. We've had Bimber away with Spain, Linda's been away with Netherlands. Obviously we've got loads of international players, including yourself here from North America as well. Just all of those call-ups, it really shows the togetherness of the side as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really exciting to see such kind of these younger girls coming up, learning so much from in the Prem 15s, getting their experience from there, getting comfortable playing with each other, and then having all of these international opinion and experience come together. It really can show on the field.
So there's just under 5 minutes to go then until kick-off, so we'll run you through the teams. For the Chiefs, we've already mentioned it, but there's just one change to that starting 15. Laura Sheehan coming in for her first start on the right wing, with Niamh Terry reversing back to the bench. All of that means that Maren Doidge will go back to her familiar position of fullback. There's an American pairing in the centres with Gabby Cantona and Kate Zachary, normally a back rower, continuing at 13 after impressing there last week for Appleby's side. With Taylor's absence at fly half, Patricia Garcia keeps the 10 jersey, with Flo Robinson again at scrum half after her call up into the England squad. In the pack, it's a familiar front row lineup of Olivia De Merchant, Emily Totosi and the impressive Sachiko Kato, with Poppy Leach and McKinley Hunt in the second rows. In the back row, Linda van der Velden will lead the side from 8, and watch out for the flankers of Ebony Jeffries and Rachel Johnson, who have shone since the turn of the year. For Loughborough Lightning, they make 3 changes in personnel to their side that started against Wasps. Ella Viervas comes in at scrum half for Megan Davey, who reverts to the bench. And there is also a change on the wing, with Isla Alejandro coming in for Ellen Ramsbottom. At number 8 for them, a huge boost for themselves and for England, with captain Sarah Hunter returning. This will be her first appearance since round 3 against Bristol Bears. Looking at the benches then for both teams, watch out for Chiefs for the aforementioned Niamh Terry if she gets a chance today, and Laura Delgado, who's impressed off the bench since coming back from international duty. For Loughborough Lightning on the bench, there's 2 potential first appearances of the season for Georgina Tasker and Nina Vistason. Taylor, just a couple of minutes until kick-off then. Loughborough have come out onto the pitch. It's been a hugely impressive season for them as well. They're really going to want to show today just what they're about and nail themselves on for that top 4 place as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd have to say, I think they're just hurting just as much from their loss from last week as well. So we're both great sides, so it'll be interesting to see just who wants it more at this point.
And as we're just looking out here on the pitch, waiting for Linda to lead the side out. A word on that Loughborough team, obviously they've had a number of England call-ups as well. There's Emily Scarrett, as you'd expect, Helena Rowland fly half, Datisha Harper, and top scorer for the league, actually Lark Davis at hooker have been called up as well. Kath O'Donnell returns to the England setup for the first time since 2019 as well. And Taylor, obviously, I know you're Canadian, England's a little bit different, but there's so much experience in that England squad for the Six Nations, isn't there?
Yeah, it is fantastic. I'm really excited to see Sarah Hunter back on the pitch. Also, as well, the amount of leadership that they have on the field with her and Emily Scarrett, who just got named the England captains. It's fantastic, and I can't wait to see how they perform.
You can hear the huge cheers below me from the subs and the support staff here today as Chiefs come out onto the pitch, led by captain Linda van der Velden. Obviously no crowd here today, and we're wishing all of you can be back here watching it in person with us as soon as is possible and safe and allowed to do so. Just watching them come past us now from the gantry up here, you get the impression today is going to be a huge clash. So we've run through the teams for you, referee and touch judges making their way out onto the pitch as well. And before kick-off, we'll just take a moment's pause on the referee's whistle once he makes his way to the halfway line. So referee's whistle there, you can hear cries of "Let's go Chiefs" from down below me. And it'll be the visitors who will get us underway here at Sandy Park. Helena Rowland then fly half. She'll have her eyes on trying to get that England 10 jersey for the Six Nations. And we wait here for her to get the match underway. Here we go then, long blast from the referee's whistle, and the ball goes over the head there of the Chiefs player, and it's knocked on. First opportunity here for Loughborough Lightning. Lark Davis with the ball. There's a huge collision there in midfield, and they'll look to get some quick ball here to get themselves right on the front foot. Rowland again, out of the back to Scarrett, and Scarrett feeds it in, and the ball's made its way onto the wing to Olivia Jones. She's tackled well by Merrin Doige there, and Garnet McKinder in unison. O'Donnell out the back to Rowland. She's playing fast rugby here, but that little offload goes forwards. An exciting opening couple of exchanges there from both teams, couple of errors from both of them. We'll have a free kick to restart. For those of you who haven't watched any women's rugby this season, first of all, where have you been? But most importantly, for you to note that scrums aren't being played after a knock-on this season. It's a free kick to restart. And Patricia Garcia then gets us back underway. The ball's taken by Lizzie Goulden. There's Rowland again looking fuller running early doors. Scarrett with an inside ball there, back to her fullback. And Loughborough have the ball on the 10-metre line. Chiefs defence standing firm. There's Virus with a little snipe, but she's shocked by Kate Zachary. Scarrett then covers the back of the ruck. Kate Zachary making a nuisance of herself there, but the ball comes away to Sarah Hunter, her first touch back in competitive action after a long period out. And Rowland then again, opportunity to charge down from McKinley Hunt, but the ball goes straight down the channel of Patricia Garcia. Unfortunate there for the fly half, spilling the ball. It'll be a Loughborough free kick on the 10-metre line. Taylor, a slightly frenetic couple of opening minutes there. What do you make of it so far?
It's been some exciting rugby for the first couple of minutes. It's too bad to see there's been a couple silly errors, but I can imagine that there's some nerves. So there's a lot on this game right now. So hopefully as the game goes on, you can see a bit more calm and impressive rugby from both sides.
Loughborough then still looking threatening with ball in hand. There's a huge collision there again in midfield. A great initial hit from the Chiefs. It looks like it was McKinley Hunt that made that one. And they look to go down the blind side. Crossing, though, the call from the referee. And there's respite there for Exeter, and they'll have an opportunity to set themselves with an attacking opportunity for the first time in this match. Gabby Cantona then, it's a solid opening kick to touch from the inside centre, finding touch on the Loughborough 10-metre line. First throw then for Emily Totosi, and it goes to the front. Clever little play there from the Chiefs. And there's Olivia de Merchant with a strong carry there. And Robinson to Garcia at 10. She's had more time to bed in there after being rushed into the fray last week. And Robinson then at the back. Huge rush there in the midfield from Loughborough. Looked to potentially be offside. Referee says it was just perfectly timed, but it's a good secondary drive from the Chiefs. It's Poppy Leach waiting for the ball, and she flings it out to Zachary. And she's met by her opposite number, Kate Scarrett. Emily Scarrett, I beg your pardon. But they've got the ball back to ground, and there's Doidge. And she looks to go on that outside arc. Tackled well there by a combination of Rowland and Olivia Jones. Garcia again with ball in hand, round the back to Zachary to Cato, her first touch in anger today. And the ball again is flinged out to Garcia, but it's a slightly low one for her and she can't quite hold on to it. It'll be a free kick for Loughborough. Knock on the call there from the referee. Both teams know how much is riding on this game today. Helena Rowland then taps and goes to Tisha Harper. Goes into contact. There's a big old hit there from the prop double act of Cato and de Merchant to stop her in her tracks. Kath O'Donnell then with the carry for the visitors. There's Rowland again. Scarrett met well by Cantona and Hunt. She's stopped well then. The ball's been stripped by McKinley Hunt and it's play on, says the referee. Hunt goes charging up towards the 22. Brilliant work there from the second row. And Robinson in position to Tosi, to de Merchant. Little tip on there. And it's a penalty there. Not releasing the call from the referee. Let's see what the decision is here. Taylor, I saw you pointing at the post next to me. I've seen Pat just pointing at the post as well. And indeed they do. Sensible option for the Chiefs there just to get some early points on the board. So Gabby Cantona then will line this up for the Chiefs. This will be an opportunity for her to go past 80 points this season in her debut campaign for the club. It's the third highest point scorer off the tee in the league. From about 25 metres out then. Great nudge there from the inside centre. It sails through the posts. It's an early 3-0 advantage here for Exeter Chiefs. 6.5 minutes in. Taylor, it was so crucial there, that first opportunity in the red zone to come away with some points, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's been one of our biggest work on so far. We enter the 22 and have a habit of leaving it without the points. So taking the opportunities when they arise for us is going to be really important this game.
And it's something we saw in that match away at Wasps as well, that late penalty from Gabby to win the game, just taking those points when they're on offer. And like you said, it's something that the side have been working on. Back underway here, the referee says play on, and indeed it's a penalty for Loughborough there after they make an absolute nuisance of that Chiefs breakdown. And they'll have an opportunity then to put this into the corner, you'd expect, and bounce straight back here. And the ball then from Rowland finds itself into touch about 15 metres out from the Chiefs line. Taylor, I know it's an old adage, but it is one of those, isn't it? As soon as you've scored, it's just so important to keep the ball, recycle it, and get it out of the danger zone.
Yeah, definitely. And just keep that momentum going forward as much as you can. Keep the opposition on their back heels.
Strong line out then from the visitors, but it's been taken backwards in the maul by Chiefs, and Loughborough look to reset themselves here. Viervas pushing her forwards on, but she's searching for the ball now, and she breaks, and the ball's made its way to Scarrett, but she drops the ball. It's gone backwards, says the referee. Great rush defence there by the Chiefs, but Loughborough hold on to the ball. And there's Sarah Hunter with a carry. She's matched up well by Garcia and Cantona, and the ball makes its way out there. Great little take there from Lizzie Goulden, having to reach and go onto her knees to get that ball. And Viervas then again at the back of the ruck here uses O'Donnell as a link player. Chiefs though read that well, and Viervas again looks blind, and it goes behind the back of Lizzie Goulden. The referee again says that one's gone backwards, but Chiefs all over it. And there's a brilliant turnover there on the floor for the Chiefs, and indeed a penalty. Superb work there from the captain, Linda van der Velden. And Gabby Cantona then will have a chance to clear the lines for her side. Clearance kick from Cantona finds touch just inside the Lightning half. Second line out of the day then for the Chiefs, directly below us here. Poppy Leach calling this one, and it goes to the front pod. Ebony Jeffries down to Robinson, and Van der Velden with a little tip onto McKinley Hunt, and she breaks through the gap, and she's one-on-one here with Lizzie Goulden. She rounds the fullback, and she keeps going straight into the Loughborough 22 there. Brilliant carry from the second row, and there's Garcia then picking up the ball, and Chiefs right on the front foot again here. There's Leach with a tip onto Merrin Doige. A little step inside there from the fullback, and Laura Sheehan with her first touch in an attacking position for the Chiefs. There's another tip on there, and Chiefs now going into that familiar game plan of trying to grind the opposition down with carries in and around the 5 metre line. And there's a little tip on to Olivia de Merchant, 5 metres out for the Chiefs here. It's a good initial tackle from Lightning, but it's a penalty advantage, says the referee. Free ball. Let's see what Merrin Doige does. It's a little show and go. Laura Sheehan held up in the tackle. Chiefs still with the ball though. Robinson to Hunt, and she carries again after her initial surge set up this position. And there's Van der Velden with the carry. Support is there for her quickly. No advantage coming, says the referee. And we'll come back for the penalty. Let's see what they do here then. You can hear Susie Appleby shouting, "Let's go," below me. I think we all know what that means is going to come here. And there's a tap and go from Sachi Kato. She's a metre out there, almost over the line, and Chiefs again straight back into that attacking pattern. And they've got to be over the line. There's a try there from the referee's arm. And it's Rachel Johnson that has gone over for the Chiefs. Brilliant opening start here for them then. In fact, Johnson, that's her 6th try of the season, which isn't a bad return at all since arriving in January. Taylor, it's the first real chance we've had to see that power game come to the fore today, and it all came from that brilliant initial carry from your international teammate McKinley there.
Yeah, well, you know McKinley, she's such a reliable player and such a crazy strong ball carrier, so you can always rely on a strong carry from her to get our momentum going. And when you have momentum like that, it's so great to see us enter the 22 and just continue on and finish with points at the end as well. It's awesome from Rachel to finish that off. She's also a very reliable player, and she's been a great asset to this team.
Gabby Cantona then in front of the posts for this one to take the lead up to 10 points. And she's nailed that one there. 10-0 Exeter Chiefs lead, 12 minutes on the clock. And now straight back into the next task, which will be holding on to the ball after the restart. We wait for Helena Rowland to get us back underway. Goes the other way this time, down the throat of Kate Zachary, but she takes well. And Olivia Jones does well there to stop the rampaging centre for today. And there's another strong carry then from the Chiefs. Great presentation of the ball, and there's Leach now with a carry. Robinson then looks to be setting herself for a box kick, but instead she goes blind. There's a little snipe from the scrum half. We saw that last week against Saracens as well. And there's a penalty for the Chiefs there. Not rolling away the call from the referee, and another opportunity here to take play into the Loughborough half. Cantorna again then, she's not got much angle to work with here. That's a brilliant kick from her, and she takes play to near the Loughborough 22. A slight pause in the game here for one of the Loughborough players taking a knee. It's Sarah Hunter on her first game back. She's straight back into the action though, no issues there. And a line out for Emily Totosi. Time back on from the referee. And it goes to the back. Brilliant jump there from Rachel Johnson, reaching there for that, and Van der Velden feeds Hunt again. She's up to the 22. Robinson then with a little snipe. Flo Robinson is through. She goes, tries to round the player. Instead, she takes it to the right there. Eventually hauled down. And Garcia steps in at scrum half. Ball still being worked wide. Meryn Doige at pace. The ball, though, is spilt. And it will be a free kick for Loughborough Lightning there. Great defence, it must be said, after that initial dart from Robinson just to close off the space there. That looked like a really promising position again for the Chiefs. And from the free kick, Lightning choose to go to touch. Free kick then, obviously that means that will be a Chiefs line out. Still in the Loughborough half. With a line out that gets overthrown there, and Loughborough then on the ball and attacking. Taylor, we're 15 minutes into this game now. We're almost at the halfway point of the first half. Lightning have been shut down really well so far by this Chiefs defence, haven't they?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for the defense that we're seeing on both sides. Loughborough's putting out a great show. They're really doing a great job to shut us down, especially when we have the momentum. And obviously we pride ourselves on our defense, so we're going to try and keep doing our best that we can.
And Chiefs back on the ball then. McKinley Hunt with another huge carry back up onto the 10-metre line. And Garcia to Jeffries. And the ball again. Garcia, is a huge rush up there from Loughborough, I beg your pardon, putting Chiefs under all sorts of pressure. And the ball's fumbled, but they hold on to it. It's a penalty on halfway for Loughborough. Sandy, you were saying there about that defence. We've seen it there from them, and that's really being led by their back rowers so far.
Yeah, that line speed's unstoppable so far. Really putting us under a lot of pressure.
Helena Rowland then to go for touch. She's missed touch though, and it's straight down the channel of Meryn Doige, but it bounces over her head. All sorts of problems there for the fullback, but she's done well to juggle it and hold it on the second attempt. A legal strip there in contact from the referee, and that will be a penalty for Chiefs. Opportunity there to clear their lines again after a dangerous position there despite the missed touch. And obviously we talked about it before the match, Taylor, whilst we're waiting for Gabby to take this kick to touch. There's a real North American flavour to this team. Obviously Gabby, Kate, yourself, and then you've got Liv, you've got McKinley, your international colleagues, and Emily Totosi as well. Just how good is it for you to have so many faces that you know from the international scene with you as well?
It's great to know that you have a little bit of home with you, especially with the World Cup approaching slowly. There's slower than planned, but to get that kind of experience, to get those minutes on the pitch, to get that connection, keep building, and even just to be able to learn about from the people around you, whether it's like from US, Spain, the Netherlands, like you can learn from anyone, so it's fantastic.
The Chiefs then still playing with the ball. Susie Appleby's held her side to look for the penalty advantage. No advantage coming then, and we'll come back to another Chiefs penalty. Not releasing the tackle player, and it'll be an opportunity again for Chiefs just to work their way slowly up to halfway. And indeed she does find touch just inside her own half. Emily Totosi then to throw in again for the Chiefs. Front pod the call, and Robinson juggles it but holds on to it. They're searching for the space, but she's cut out by the Loughborough defence. Chiefs recycle well though, and Garcia feeds the ball, Leach, I beg your pardon, feeds the ball to Cato, and Robinson back in position there at the base. And there is Garcia looking around, goes the other way, trying to spot a gap. Good defence though from the visitors again. And Leach with the tip on to Cato. And there's Cantona then at first receiver now, and it goes out the back to Zachary. She slings it long to McKinder, and McKinder with a first chance to stretch her legs here. Rowland and Jones though up to the task, but she's taken play inside the halfway. And there's Laura Sheehan popping up on the opposite wing now as well. And Robinson has to go into the ruck to fight for it, but Loughborough all over that, and it's a penalty for Loughborough. And that'll be a disappointing phase there for the Chiefs. So they had a great opportunity there and just didn't look after the ball as well as they could have at the breakdown.
Yeah, we knew this was going to come. We've been preparing for this all week and all season really, so making sure that we're protecting our own ball when we can and just keep going forward.
Superb work there from Garcia to keep the ball in play.
Great kick.
And then McKinder pops it back to her fly half, who clears to the 10-metre line. And that is the first water break of the match. 19 minutes in, 10-0 the Chiefs lead here at Sandy Park in this crucial game. Referee just having a few words there with Loughborough hooker Lark Davis before she goes over to join her side. Taylor, I touched on it with Lossie when I was in commentary with her last time. It's one of those things with these water breaks as well. It does give a chance just for teams to refresh, get those messages onto the pitch and sort of reassess where they need to go in that second half, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's new for us for sure, but it's a great chance to, I mean, hopefully this far into the game they're not too needed for to take a breath, but it's good to get those connections, to get those one-on-one conversations that you can't normally get if you're on opposite wings or
And what sort of messages do come onto the pitch? And I take it it's just, in this instance, more of the same, just cutting out those errors and just those basic notes, really.
Yeah, so it's really helpful at times that when we're on the pitch, we kind of take those first three breaths together, because if we're frantic, like kind of what we're seeing at times now, it just gives us a chance to recollect our thoughts, calm down, because when you're breathing heavy, you're feeling frantic, you're not really taking in that much information. I'm assuming that some of the conversations coming in right now are a lot about there's space on wide. From what we can see up here, I'm not sure what the camera angle's at for you guys, but it looks like the Loughborough wingers are kind of caught in no man's land at times. Like they're sometimes in the line, they don't know whether to drop. So just taking advantage of that, we haven't really been using our kicking game like we can, and just continue going forward when we can.
And obviously only in brief moments, but we've seen the threat that McKinder poses with her physicality out on the wing, and Laura Sheehan popping up as well. So hopefully Chiefs then will be taking that on board and using that space that they've been able to find for themselves a little bit more in this second 15-16 minutes of the second half. We'll restart then with a Loughborough Lightning line out on the Chiefs 10-metre line. And Jeffries almost gets a hand to that, but Loughborough get the ball, and there's Rowland to Scarrett, and she tips it on in midfield. Viervas then searching for the ball at scrum half, and the ball pops out again, and Rowland full of running. It's a brilliant little pass out there to Alejandro. Good covering tackle, but Loughborough straight back onto the attack. Good quick ball there from the base of the ruck. And again, they look to search down that short side. Chiefs up to the task, and indeed all the way through. Play on, says the referee. And it's a brilliant turnover for the Chiefs. Rachel Johnson with the carry then. There's an opportunity here then for the Chiefs to get back into that structure they found in that opening quarter of the game. Robinson then just marshalling things from scrum half for her side. There's a slow pause here, setting herself for the box kick. And up it goes. Sheehan then sprinting up alongside Johnson, the rest of the team, and the ball makes its way out to Scarrett. There was space in behind there, but she chooses to run, and she's met superbly there in midfield. Van der Velden there just having to check herself on that run. The referee says that's fine and play on, and Loughborough again then look to attack. Rowland then shipping it on to her teammate, and Virvas back in position. Little show and go, and she's through. Brilliant sniping run there. She takes play up to halfway before Garcia manages to get her to ground. It's Harper. And Loughborough again then with the ball on halfway. Strong carry there from the other prop, that was Dalika Menin. And Scarrett then, little pass in behind to Lizzie Goulden, who pops it back to her outside centre. And Virvas again then back in position. O'Donnell then feeds it off to Hunter. She drives the legs well with 3 players on her there. And Scarrett then puts boot to ball, nothing coming. And it's straight out from the outside centre. Great pressure there in defence by Exeter Chiefs. And they'll have the line out on the 10-metre line. Taylor, we touched on it earlier. We were talking about that pressure from the Loughborough back row, but you're really seeing the Chiefs back row coming to the fore now as well with that pressure on the halfbacks. Yeah, definitely. Just around the breakdown there, making sure we're shutting them down. That was a great snipe from their 9. A little run up the middle of the field, so making sure that we're kind of staying locked down, kind of avoid that from happening again, hopefully. Great kick from Scarrett. I mean, it could have been, but like, you know, if you give her that space, she will take it every single time. So making sure we're covering the backfield. Jeffries does brilliant there at the line out to take it under pressure, and it's a fantastic flat pass to Zachary, and she manages to get the offload away to Cantona. Oh, and the pass there just misses Flo Robinson. Chiefs looked for all money to be in if that had gone to hand, and Loughborough get their hands on the ball, and there's a booming clearance there. Straight down the throat of McKinder though, and she's got an opportunity to run this back. She sets off, bursts through the attempted tackle, taking play back up towards the 22. Robinson to Van der Velden down the blind side. She'll have to do well to stay in here. There's a fantastic double tackle from Olivia Jones and Lizzie Goulden. That was a disappointment there for Chiefs, but we saw there the positivity that you can get from taking the play to the game line there like Garcia did, and having those running lines and those support networks as well from the likes of Gabby Cantona. Yeah, it was a great line break, unfortunate results, but Loughborough's doing a great job to contain us on the outside, and some great tackles from their wings. McKinder then pops up with a tackle in midfield for her side, and the ball goes back in behind for Rowland, and she smashes it downfield. Garcia goes chasing back. Feeds it to her fullback Doig, who looks for a little bit of space and just decides to put her head down into contact. Chiefs then with ball on their own 10-metre line. There's space here on the blind if they want to use it. Unfortunate ball there though, goes forward to Sachi Kato. That's a good net gain there for Loughborough from what was a really dangerous position for the Chiefs just a few moments ago. And they'll have a chance then to set themselves here with Virvas. And she feeds to Hunter, who carries through the Merchant, but Leach gets her down at the second attempt. There's another strong carry though from Loughborough. It's been one out runners so far, but they've been making good ground. And now there's Scarrett on the outside arc. It's a brilliant pass out the back. And Deutsch then with a superb tackle on Alejandro there. Last defender had to make that tackle. And as Harper then comes steaming in. Great carry there from the Loughborough Lightning prop. And there was another attempt there with Menon making a carry, but she spilt in contact, and Garcia can clear long. Straight down though to Goulden, and she looks to chip and go herself. Read though by Gabby Cantorna, and she calls the mark. Sensible play there from Gabby there, Taylor. See with Goulden racing down her channel like that.
Yeah, that was some great multi-phase rugby that we just saw there. Great to see Gabby actually using the mark, which we haven't been really taking advantage of in this season. So
Loughborough then with the ball back in their hands, and again they put boot to ball, just trying to hem Chiefs in. It's a bobbly, difficult one for Garcia to take. She does well just to hold that, but it's a penalty for Loughborough, crawling on the ground after the tackle, and there's an opportunity now for the visitors to put the ball into the corner, you'd imagine. Rowland then racing over. And indeed she does put that into touch, but it's gone dead. So it will be a Chiefs ball here. Disappointment there for Rowland and for Loughborough Lightning. Chiefs have got the option. You can hear Appleby bellowing that she wants her side to take the scrum with the success of that pack, and there's a change coming up here for the Chiefs. And it's Laura Delgado replacing Olivia De Merchant. Not sure if De Merchant's got a little niggle or if that's a tactical decision. But Taylor Delgado, obviously she's been on the bench the last couple of games after coming back from international duty. We've got such a wealth of experience and quality in that department at prop, with obviously Liv, with Bimber, with Sachi, and then the likes of Jess Thomas and Michaela Roberts as well.
yeah, we have a big depth of our forward pack, and we're really lucky to have Laura back on the pitch with us, and obviously Liv starts the game off really strong, so it's good to see Laura come on and kind of put some speed back into the game as well.
There's a superb chase there from the Chiefs on the kick. It's McKinder and Cantorna doing the damage. Loughborough look to clear with not much of an angle. That's an incredibly good kick actually, taking play to halfway between the 22 and the 10 metre line. Chiefs then really applying the pressure. And Tosi again then to throw in for the home side. Leach then calls it. And the ball goes over the top. The referee says that went backwards. It looked to me like it might have drifted forwards off a hand. And indeed the referee says it has. But Van der Velden bursts through, looks for the offload but can't free the hands. No advantage coming though, and we'll come back for a Chiefs free kick. It's just a matter for Chiefs then, once they get into these positions of just using the ball and being sensible and cautious with these opportunities. Robinson then can't hold on to that at the base of the ruck. And just as we're talking there about being cautious and patient, commentators curse. Loughborough Lightning then will have an opportunity to clear their lines and get out of trouble here with little over 6 minutes to go of this first half. Rowland then belts it straight down the middle. There's no one at home. And Robinson tracks back well though and immediately sets off. And it's a flat old kick, but it's caught well by Rowland, and there's another flat kick actually from her as she kicks through, which eventually bobbles its way into touch. You'd say a slight net gain for Loughborough there after that little bit of aerial ping pong. Taylor, we've talked about the kicking game of both teams, and obviously that's something that you would be leading for the Chiefs normally, but for both teams to have the likes of Robinson, Garcia, Cantorna, and obviously normally yourself on the pitch as well for Chiefs, and Rowland and Scarrett for the visitors, there's a plethora of kicking options. It just makes it so much easier to pick those moments, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's all about possession though. Like at times in this game, like going into the end of the first half here, we kind of just want to keep possession and keep momentum going forward as much as we can. We seem to be kind of forcing our kicks when we have strong carriers, and as you can see, we have the ability to move ball quite well. So just using that and using other options to exit when we're under pressure.
It's an opportunity there for Chiefs. There's a bobbling ball which evaded Doidge, but McKinder managed to tidy it up well. No such luck next time round though, as Gabby Cantorna can't quite hold on to that ball. It's one of those things you think Susie Appleby and Amy Garnett will be saying to their side at half-time, is just tidying up those errors a little bit with ball in hand, because it's giving Loughborough these opportunities, and the Loughborough defence has been solid so far and difficult to break down, so you don't want to lose the opportunities that you create for yourself with unfortunate handling errors. Loughborough back on the attack here then. There's Tatisha Harper with the ball in midfield as the sun comes out at Sandy Park for the first time today, which is great to see. And Loughborough working their way up deep into the Chiefs' half. Scarrett as first receiver, a little inside ball there, but it's trapped well by the Chiefs. And they've still got the ball as they ease their way up to the 22. That ball, though, behind the Loughborough player, and she's done well to hold on to it, actually, under some really strong pressure there from that Chiefs rush defence. And Loughborough again look to set themselves. They've gone back 5 or 10 metres from where they were, as the ball then spun out to their number 4, Abby Duguid. And the ball again then to Rowland, to Scarrett, and there's opportunity here for Scarrett, and she burst through, but a brilliant tackle on her by Robinson. Scarrett would have been away there, setting out her stall early on. And there's a great counter-up there from the Chiefs. But Loughborough hold on to the ball. Lark Davis then with the carry, the England hooker. And Virvas out to Kath O'Donnell. She's tackled by Delgado, came onto the pitch about 5 minutes ago for Olivia de Merchant. There's a little kick through with nothing coming, and McKinder tidies it well. Sells the dummy, and she's off. And she steps inside the first player, and eventually taken to ground by Rowland and Hunter. Nice little break there from the Exeter winger, nice dummy as well, and Chiefs now with the ball, and they take play up to their own 10-metre line. Cato then with the ball, and she feeds it on to Sheehan, who's got another chance to stretch her legs, but she's stopped well there in defence. Chiefs then just playing the phases, looking for the opportunities. There's Ebony Jeffries, the trademark barrelling run in midfield, and the ball's out to Garcia, and what's on for her? She plays it inside to Rachel Johnson there, and she's tackled by her opposite number, Becky Noon. Garcia again then at 10. It's a little dink through to be chased here by McKinder and Cantona. Really clever little dink in behind there, and Gordon's gone racing back. Has to put boot to ball, can't make many metres there with that pressure. It'll be a Chiefs line out in the Loughborough 22 then. Taylor, obviously we've talking about that kicking game there, and Chiefs needing to focus in on it a little bit more. We've seen the success they can get when they actually do.
Yeah, I think from both sides here we're seeing a little bit more of calmer rugby, which is great to see. That's the kind of kicking game of that momentum going forward. We're already going forward. We've already had a couple of phases, but there's an opportunity in the backfield.
And Johnson then breaks off the back of the maul there. Sorry to interrupt you, Taylor.
Okay.
And there's a penalty advantage by the looks of things being played by the referee. And Gabby Cantona spots a gap. Sive down, but the ball still with the Chiefs then. Robinson to Garcia. What's she looking at? It's a little kick through. Can Sheehan get there? And she does! Brilliant kick in behind from Garcia. Superb chase from the winger. And right on the stroke of half-time there, Chiefs extend their advantage then to 15 points. Their second try of the afternoon. We've seen it a number of times this season, Taylor. We've seen it from yourself, we've seen it from Gabby, and we've seen it from Patricia in different games, using that crossfield kick or that crossfield grubber to your advantage. And with the pace of the likes of Laura and Garnett and Lossie when she's fit on the wings, you really do get so many opportunities out wide with those kicks in behind.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was great to see from Laura, some great finish, and you can see that Pat's getting more comfortable with the people around her, just kind of putting it through, knowing that they're going to give it them all to get onto the, especially when you have a try zone that deep that we have at Sandy Park here, you have to take advantage of it. So hopefully we see a lot more of that now.
Cantona then will line this one up for the Chiefs. Difficult kick out wide for her. Lightning look to put the pressure on her, but she's not started to run up yet, so they have to go back. And there they go then, racing up on Cantona. Brilliant nudge from the inside centre, and she takes the score up to 17-0 to the Chiefs. couple of moments left then in this first half, and that try then right on half-time for the Chiefs, a perfect little present, if you like, for them to take into half-time. They've now just got to maintain possession of the ball here, not do anything silly, and just get themselves in at the break with actually what would be a really promising lead for them after a really impressive first half. And in fact, that kick's gone right out on the ball, on the full rather, from Roland. Uncharacteristic there from the fly half, so there'll be an opportunity for Chiefs on halfway for one final attack, you think. And Taylor, with half-time approaching, then we finally get to see a Chiefs scrum. The pack has been so strong for Chiefs this season. It really helps set that front foot ball up.
Yeah, it's definitely, we can use it to our advantage when we have the opportunity. It's too bad we only get 4 or 5 a game max. That'd be on the high end, so we'll see what we can do here.
Robinson then to put in on halfway. Let's see then what the pack can do here. Take nothing away from the Loughborough Lightning pack as well. There is a superb forward pack, packed with international talent as well, and you can see them making a bit of a mess there of that scrum, but Cantona kicks through and McKinder chases up, and there is space in behind there as Goulden races into it. It's a brilliant kick in behind, and that brings up half-time. Half-time score here then at Sandy Park is Exeter Chiefs 17, Loughborough Lightning 0. Taylor, what have you made of that first half so far? It's been some really impressive performances.
It's great to see everyone's kind of just calming down a bit. You can see we had a bit of a rough start. Well, not so much rough. You can see that we had great structure, but some silly errors. So it's fantastic to see that we've kind of calmed down. We're getting used to playing with each other. We have people in those new positions and starting to make that connection. So it's exciting to see what the second half has.
Both teams heading back into the changing rooms. Then just quickly before we take a short break, for you, focusing on a little bit of global women's rugby. Obviously there's been so much positive news in the last couple of weeks as well. Obviously the disappointment of the World Cup being delayed by a year, but for understandable reasons. But I suppose that blow's been softened with the announcement about the WXV series, and that's going to be fantastic for the women's game, isn't it? An increase in the competition.
Yeah, it is. It's so exciting. I can't believe the steps that we've been making just in the last few years with women's rugby. It's fantastic to see that, especially countries like North America, where a lot of the time we just have each other to play, and I mean, maybe once a year come up and see England, Scotland, but it's such a great opportunity to expand the game. And even just having this announcement happen, like, it's just the conversation that's happening, and having that conversation happen amongst people worldwide is fantastic.
Just a few little score updates for you then, and before we take that short break that I've said about Saracens versus Harlequins, 17 all. Fantastic looking game there. Wasps have beaten Sale Sharks by 50 points to 0, and the DMP Durham Sharks versus Gloucester Hartpury score is, bear with me for a second, 17-7 to Gloucester Hartpury at the break. 17-0 here then, as we said, at Sandy Park to Exeter Chiefs. We'll be taking a short break, and then we'll be back with you for another pulsating second half of rugby. Welcome back then to Sandy Park after that brief little stoppage there at half time. Both teams then making their way back out onto the field for the next 35 minutes. And there was me going on earlier in that first half about the sun coming out. It's gone in again now. Second time I've pulled the commentator's curse on us today. And it'll be Chiefs then that will get us underway for this second half. Loughborough though in a huddle on halfway. Both teams knowing how crucial this second 35 minutes is for both of their seasons, potentially season defining. Taylor, then just a quick word before Patricia gets us back underway. For both of these teams, there is so much riding on this game and these crunch matches once you get down to the end of the season. And we saw in that first half from Chiefs that courage and that determination to really push through and continue to make their mark.
Yeah, we've seen a really strong start from Chiefs here. Going into the second half, hopefully we continue that momentum going forward and hopefully see some more individual strong performances from the Loughborough side as well.
So then Garcia taking her time, and we're back underway for the second half here at Sandy Park. Bouncing ball, and it's taken well by Loughborough. Viervas then back into the 22, and Scarrett clears long down the channel of Merrin Doig. She takes well there for the Chiefs and looks to respond, running her way back up towards the Loughborough 10-metre line. There's a strong counter ruck there from the visitors all over it, and in fact they've managed to turn the ball there. Perfect start for them, and again that kicking game early doors here from Loughborough. They've spotted space in behind, and it's Laura Sheehan that picks it up, and she kicks down, but it's straight down the channel on halfway, and Loughborough there searching around trying to find a bit of space. Nothing coming, so they take it into contact. There's a juggling act there in midfield, but they've held on, and Viervas to Scarra on the blind this time, and they go down that channel again. Sarah Hunter then with the carry for them. A little pop back inside from Olivia Jones. And Chiefs look to get their hands on the ball. A brilliant piece of work at the breakdown there. It's a penalty for Chiefs, holding on the call from the referee. Cantona then. No risks, just puts the ball into touch on the Loughborough 10-metre line. And Chiefs then will have the line out. Front ball taken well by Jeffries, and she pops it down to Robinson. As a great chase again there on the rush from Viervas. McKinley Hunt though gets the ball and powers her way through with support around her, still driving the legs. Brilliant carry there again from the second row, and Garcia at 10 to Cantona out the back to Doig, but it evades her and Laura Sheehan and drifts into touch there. Chiefs probably guilty there of just rushing that one a little bit, and Lark Davis will throw in for Loughborough. And Jeffries again manages to get up, can't quite get her hands to the ball. Rowland then has to have a second bite of the cherry of gathering the ball, and Scarrett boots it into the empty space in behind McKinder and Doig. And there's some strong pressure there on McKinder with her back to the defence. She can't quite hold on to the ball, and that's worked out well there for the visitors. They'll have the free kick from the knock-on. And Viervas gets us underway. And there's Lark Davis then having to reach for the ball, but it evades her. It goes backwards, says the referee, and there's certainly an opportunity here for Laura Sheehan if she can break the first tackle, and she does. Met well though by Datisha Harper and Helena Rowland, the England international pair there, managing to pull the Irish woman to ground. And Ebony Jeffries then with the ball for the Chiefs. Garcia then to her international teammate Delgado, and we see her have a trundle for the first time. Good metres made there, and Viervas again, fantastic rush defence from her, but she's on her own, and the ball's popped off to Hunt. Takes play back up to the Loughborough 10-metre line. And Loughborough make an absolute mess of the breakdown again. And Virvas then goes to clear, but it's been charged down by Hunt. No advantage coming. Will come back for the free kick for that knock on at the base of the ruck, I beg your pardon. Taylor for Loughborough, they didn't do much wrong in that first half. It's just a strong defence from both teams. It's about just getting into those phases and getting into that pattern of play that they know will get results for in this half, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're stringing together some great defense, and it's really interesting watching Virvas on coming from that defensive sweeping position, sweeping up the field.
And just I can see there, number 19, Maya Muller is on for Loughborough Lightning. I'll get confirmation of who she is on for when I can. Chiefs back with the ball in hand though. Poppy Leach after a little knock on, and Sachi Kato then with the carry after another little pop pass. And Garcia waits for the ball at 10. Back out to Cantorna, a little show and go from her. Becky Noon though marshals her well, makes the tackle. And Garcia then, it's gone aerial, it's gone very high, not very far, but it's a brilliant leaping take from Helena Rowland using all of her experience. And Virvas kicks through, and there's space in behind there as Deutsch has to go tracking back. Emily Scarrett racing down on the fullback and managing to get to her with Alejandro, the winger. But Chiefs regroup, and there's Robinson back to Totosi, and there's a huge tackle there on her from Kath O'Donnell. Chiefs then, you would imagine, will look to clear their line from the box kick here. And it's straight down the middle of the pitch, and it's evaded Goulden. It's been knocked on, and Totosi, Rachel Johnson rather, there races onto it, and Poppy Leach steps in at scrum half. Sachi Kato with the carry. She's tackled by Tatisha Harper. And Robinson then back in at scrum half in that familiar position. Cantorna out to Deutsch, to McKinder. There is space here if the winger can manage to work her way out, but she's stopped well by 3 Loughborough defenders, and she does well to wrestle her way to ground. And another tip on there to Delgado with the carry. And Garcia then puts boot to ball. And it's gone backwards, says the referee. And Loughborough again looking for the space, and they found it there through Rowland, and she puts a brilliant offload in. The tackle though there from Chiefs is superb. Good read there. And Loughborough though have got the opportunity here. Harper out to Goulden, and she steps inside Johnson. It's stripped in contact by the flanker, but it's a knock on first, says the referee. There's another sub coming here for the visitors, and it's a change at scrum half. Megan Davey coming on for Ella Virvas, who's looked a real threat for Loughborough today actually, with a couple of really nice little snipes around the base of the ruck. And there's another change as well for them with number 23 Nina Vistason coming on. As well, we'll get confirmation of who she's come on for as Laura Sheehan spots a gap down the blind side there, and it's Lizzie Goulden, confirmation there, who has been replaced by Vistason for the visitors. And there's space there, and McKinder then with the ball, and she goes charging up to the Lightning 10-metre line. Penalty though goes against the host there in a promising position, holding on. Fantastic work there on the floor by the Loughborough side. And we'll just take a time off here with an Exeter Chiefs player down, receiving some attention on that far side. And it's Garnet McKinder who's down, just receiving a bit of treatment there. She's sitting up, which is a good sign, but obviously just take time and be sensible here. Don't want to rush anything. Already 8 minutes into this second half then, and Taylor, it's flown by, and we're starting to see Loughborough using their bench a little bit here as well now. And we talked about it pre-match, there's such strength on both teams' benches today that you really expect they're going to come on and make a big impact, don't you?
Yeah, you can see here in the second half it's been really exciting, and the bench is really coming on and bringing that energy, speeding up the game for us here, so it's been an awesome game to watch.
McKinder then is back onto her feet, which is good to see. And confirmation then that Maya Muller has replaced Sarah Hunter at half-time then for the visitors. A good first 35-minute comeback for the Loughborough and England captain. She looks to get herself up to match fitness for the remainder of the season and for the Six Nations. We restart then from the free kick. Penalty, rather, I beg your pardon. And it's a good kick there from Rowland, finding touch on the 10-metre line for her side. And they'll have the line out then and look to set themselves into a promising attacking position here. There's a great line out take there. And the ball works its way down. It's spun wide to Scarrett. The rush defence is brilliant from Chiefs. And Gabby Cantorna and McKinley Hunt there meeting Emma Hardy in midfield. But there's a break now here. And Rowland's gone through and she's fed her winger Alejandro. And she goes round Garcia. She's eventually hauled down, but she's just 5 metres out now as Davey on the ball passes it out there to her flanker Katie Trevarthen, and they've still got the ball here. Tisha Harper then uses a dummy there, and Kath O'Donnell with the ball. A great double hit there from Jeffries and Johnson for the Chiefs, but Loughborough look to set a maul, push themselves to ground, which they've done. Fantastic work there though from the Chiefs, managing to hold that one up and managing to secure the turnover and the scrum. But Taylor, we saw their first opportunity we've really seen in this game of the threat that Rowland poses once she gets her hands in space.
Yeah, you saw a little bit, a few glimpses in the first half, but when she really puts speed on that ball, it makes us sit back on our heels, and if she continues doing that, we'll have a really exciting game here.
There'll be an Exeter Chiefs scrum then, obviously with Delgado coming onto the pitch for De Merchant. That means Sachi Kato is switching sides, switching to the loose head, so Delgado can take her place on the tight head side where she is more familiar, and Robinson then will put in for the Chiefs. In a dangerous position here, it must be said. And that one's going to need a reset then. Referee just making sure both sides are set and hold their height. Just whilst we're waiting, I'll give you confirmation that Saracens Harlequins game ended in a 17-all draw, a penalty in front of the post for the host with the last kick of the match there to preserve their unbeaten run at home that stretches back to 2018. We're really seeing the competitiveness of the league all the way through, with every single team pushing each other this season. There's a huge scrum there though from Lightning, but they're penalised for wheeling. And there'll be an opportunity then for Chiefs to clear their lines, get a bit of respite. And you'll expect Cantorna then to hopefully heed the call from her coach below us of make sure, and just make sure that she finds touch. Chiefs then looking to maybe mix it up a bit here, but they've tapped and gone instead, despite it being a penalty. A slightly strange call there, it must be said, considering where they are in their 22, but they've still got the ball. And there's Sachi Kato then with the carry. And instead from this ruck, it looks like Chiefs will set to box instead through Robinson. She goes down the channel of Rowland, who takes well. And she's met by Garcia, but it's a fantastic offload again. But Cantorna then meets her opposite number, Emma Hardy, well. And there's Meg Davey, the scrum half then, with the ball to Lark Davis, and she feeds Dalika Menon there. And Loughborough then, still with the ball then, on the Chiefs 22. There's Hardy again, and she breaks the first tackle. She's hit at the second attempt though. And Chiefs then have just got to be sensible here in defence, keep making their hits as Loughborough continue to probe and to press, and that's a great take there from Rowland. A lovely little inside pass to Scarrett. Harper again on the ball, feeds it off to Becky Noon, who's tackled well. And Trevarthen then coming around the short side. And Harper then again goes straight down the channel of Leach and Jeffries. Combination of the second row and the flanker there, stopping her well. But Chiefs have made an absolute nuisance of that, and the referee says play on, and it's popped out the back, and Laura Sheehan then does superbly to get her feet to ground and get the ball. And Gabby Cantona now with the ball on the short side. She manages to keep herself in play despite the best efforts of Trevarthen. And the ball is fed to Delgado with the carry. Hunt clears that one out. And Poppy Leach with the carry for the Chiefs. And Robinson again then will set herself for the box kick. Up it goes. There's a chase here then, and there's a good call from Visterson, it looked like there. And Loughborough with the ball in hand again. Trevarthen again. She's got her hands on the ball several times in the last couple of minutes. Looks like a promising attacking threat for the visitors. As Loughborough just probe and step their way around, seeing what opportunities are there. O'Donnell with the ball. She is met well by Rachel Johnson, and Tatisha Harper again then passes it off, and there is a little bit of space here if they can work it, and it's Visterson, and she spins her way out of a tackle from Jeffries, a high tackle I think the referee has said there. He's playing with the advantage. Harper then tips the ball on as well, and Rowland passes the ball out to Menin. She's raced through the gap here. And Merrin Doyes then, the final defender, brilliant work from her, but the offload is superb from the hosts. And it's scrum half Megan Davey who goes in there. Loughborough's first score of the afternoon. Taylor, we did say they've been looking a threat in this second half when the game's broken up a little bit there, and we saw it again there. A superb running line and a superb track back from Davey as well after that brilliant initial carry.
Yeah, that was some great rugby tied together there from Loughborough. That carry from Dalika with the offload, that's a lot of what we saw the last time that we played them. She's a very strong ball carrier, and also great skills, ball in hand, so you know that if you give her the opportunity, she'll take it. So just making sure that in those next couple of phases, we need to stay connected. We kind of are letting us get a little bit scrambled, and yeah, allowing them too many opportunities in the second half so far.
That's just what Loughborough needed to get themselves back into this game as we wait for Emily Scarrett to line up the conversion, one that you would expect her to get, a kicker of her pedigree. Nice easy nudge there from the outside centre. 17-7 then here at Sandy Park. The referee is blown for the second water break of the match. And just whilst we're in this water break then, it's fantastic to see so many people watching the streams again, watching the Exeter Chiefs stream today, and all these streams are brilliant for the women's game. If you are watching today and you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure to like and subscribe to the Exeter Chiefs page so you can see all of the post-match reaction from today's game at the end of the match, all the pre-match build-up for both the women's team and the men's team, and the continued live streams from the women's game on this platform as well. Water break then for both teams, and Taylor, that's a slightly awkward one, isn't it? Because Loughborough have come back into that game there, and that water break probably has come at just the wrong time for them. It's a bit of a momentum killer with how well they were building in that first 15 minutes.
Yeah, they've been able to tie together some great phases, and hopefully the conversations that are going on in the field now are helpful, so we can pick up the momentum once again. The rugby that Loughborough is playing has been very impressive, so if they can continue this forward, we're going to have a really exciting, close match, I believe. So we'll see what we'll be able to tie together now.
So it'll be Chiefs then who get us back underway here, and they need a big response now. Loughborough have come out of the blocks firing, and Chiefs really need to get themselves back into this game, get themselves into the same promising attacking positions we saw in that first half. We wait then for Garcia to get us back underway. And she's gone straight down the channel there of Abby Douglas, who spilt the ball And Sachi Kato races onto that prime opportunity now for the Chiefs. Flo Robinson then to Hunt, and she tips it on then to Totosi, and Chiefs with the ball in hand on the Loughborough 22. Garcia. And it's slightly too intricate in midfield there from the fly half for the day. And Loughborough will have an opportunity then to boot it long, which they do. And Laura Sheehan has to track back. It's gone over her head. It's a brilliant kick there from Loughborough Lightning. Sheehan takes it quickly to Doige, and Doige then is being hounded there by Emma Hardy, but she's broken away brilliantly there and crashes into Tatisha Harper. The prop then does well to stop her in her tracks. Great play there from the fullback after a difficult position that she found herself in. There's Zachary now with ball in hand. Poppy Leach then with the ball on to Laura Delgado. The game breaking up a little bit here now. And there's Garcia back at fly half to Van der Velden. There's a brilliant carry from her, and she looks to offload, but it evades Gabby Cantorna's hands and is knocked on. And again, you can hear the message there of don't force it, and that really is the case here. That first half for Chiefs, they were so composed, took their opportunities when they came. And it's just a matter for them of sticking to that in this second half. Loughborough coming out the blocks firing, as we said, and they're back on the ball again here, back on the charge through Menin. It's a huge double shot on her from Delgado and Cato. And the ball's gone over Rowland's head, but it's gone backwards, says the referee. In fact, it's been spilt by Garcia, and she's kicked through, and there's space in behind. And the chase back from Alejandro, but the ball just manages to beat her and Sheehan, finding touch about 35 metres out from the Loughborough line. Clever play there from Garcia, spotting the space. And Lark Davis then will throw in. And it's gone over the top there, but it's been taken brilliantly. And they race away, do the visitors, but Rachel Johnson tracks back well. Chiefs all over the ball though, looking to try and steal it. But Loughborough then managing to just about hold on to the ball, and the ball works its way back out to Rowland and to Scarrett, and there is space out there if they can find it. Fantastic tackle there from Kate Zachary in the centre channel, that unfamiliar centre channel for the American international captain. Loughborough though still with the ball in hand. And there's Davey to Rowland again, and she flings it out the back, but goes flying over the top. But the ball has worked its way out to Alejandro, and she's got props in front of her, and she's got Patricia Garcia now in front of her, bumps off her, but Sachi Kato gets back to make a fantastic tackle. The winger then streaking clear, and that's given Loughborough some brilliant momentum. Menon again playing like an inside centre there with the space in the hands, and it's Tatisha Harper who pops it off to her scrum half. Loughborough then back up to that Chiefs 22. It's Trevarthen. Goes hard into contact. Garcia looks to strip the ball, but she's got no luck there, and Rowland has to step in just to hold on to the ball for her side. Steps in at scrum half. And Harper again with the ball. Flat little pass to her front row teammate. Back in position then is Rowland. Out to Scarrett, and she's seen some space in behind. It's a crossfield kick for Olivia Jones to try and race after it. Just evades the winger and drifts into touch there. Clever little bit of play there from Loughborough there, Taylor.
Yeah, you can see what Lightning's doing when they get that go forward, that they need some of their forward players that in the first half sort of just carried the ball to the line. They're being more distributors now, making it more interesting on attack, a lot tougher to defend on our side as well.
Another important line out here then for Exeter Chiefs. Emily Totosi to throw in. It's a great take there from Poppy Leach, and they break off the back to McKinley Hunt, who races straight into contact. She only knows one way when she's running, and that's hard and straight and fast. It doesn't matter who's in front of her, she's going to keep running into them. We've seen time and time again this season. Chiefs then look to set themselves to clear their lines from the box kick. Robinson then, and it's a good box kick there. It's a challengeable box kick, and it's gone backwards, says the referee, but it doesn't matter. The bouncing ball's been picked up by the Chiefs, and there is space here if they look for it. And Cantorna then steps back inside against De Grain. She's tackled then by Menon and Emma Hardy. Wrestles her way to ground. And Robinson then back to Poppy Leach with a tip onto Delgado. Scarrett then with the tackle on her. There's a penalty advantage there for the Chiefs. It's Katie Trevarvan who hasn't rolled away. Free ball, the call then from Susie Appleby below me, but Chiefs with the penalty. An opportunity just to take their time here, put it into touch, set themselves and look to set up an attacking opportunity again. Discipline we can hear being called on the pitch by the players as well. There's a great nudge then from Cantona. There's another change coming up for the visitors. And it's number 16, Bryony Field, who's making her way onto the pitch. Totosi then with the throw-in for her side. What's the call here at the front? It's a front jump to Emily Jeffries, who takes brilliantly under pressure. There's definite tactic there from the Chiefs of rushing up on, of Loughborough I should say, of rushing up on the half-back pairing. And they've made an absolute nuisance of that ruck again and won themselves the penalty. And it's Katie Trevarvan that's come off for Loughborough Lightning to be replaced by Bryony Field. It's a good kick there from Rowland, again deep into the Chiefs' half, and another great attacking opportunity for them. Taylor, it's strange to say it's flown by this second half, but we've already only got 12-13 minutes left. What do you think Loughborough have done differently in this second half, just to come out and really take the game back to Chiefs?
I think what they're doing is just what they do the best. So like last game when we played them, they used their kicking game, they use their strong carries, their balls back inside, plus balls, so just making sure that they keep using that will be a big threat for us. And they're right back on the ball then. Another slightly wobbly pass, but the referee says it's gone backwards. There's been a couple of those today, but Loughborough have tidied those up really well every time they've happened. And they've still got the ball now, attacking with interest. And Robinson then making the tackle for the Chiefs. And Rowland though looks to show and go, but Sachi Keso makes that great initial hit for the Chiefs. And there's a fantastic work at the breakdown there. It's a penalty for the Chiefs. Going against Rowland there, disappointment for her. Cantona then will send this one to touch for Susie Appleby's side. High kick there from Cantona, but it does the job, finds touch on halfway. An opportunity then for Chiefs just to go through the phases and try and regather some of that momentum that they had in the first half. There's another change there by the looks of things for Loughborough. It's Kath O'Donnell that's come off for them. And then Totosi with the ball. And Robinson then with the pass out to Garcia on halfway. What's Garcia doing? A lovely little step and pass there, but Loughborough meeting that well, reading that play well, and they're all over that breakdown again, making an absolute nuisance of themselves, and Poppy Leach has to step in. And Gabby Cantona feeds Garnet McKinder. 3 of them on her, but she makes her way to ground well, and Robinson then back in. And there's a knock on there from Chiefs. There's a few errors still creeping into the game, and Loughborough will have another potential attacking opportunity. And it'll be Meg Davey that will take this free kick and play, which she has done. And that little pass has evaded her players again. It's Van der Velden puts her body on the line to secure the turnover for her side, and there's Jeffries then has to turn her back to get the ball, but feeds it off to Garcia. And Garcia now trying to fight to get to ground, which she has done well. And there's Leach and Johnson with the ball. Taylor, obviously that's the great thing with Pat, she's such an experienced player. Garnet McKinder with the ball there, and she makes a break first.
And she's tackled on the 10-metre line. Going back to Pat, she's such a great player. She's vastly experienced. She can cover so many positions, and she's such an asset to have for the club, isn't she?
Yeah, no matter where you play her, she'll bring her leadership and she'll bring her experience. So she's great to have on the pitch with us.
And Chiefs then look a little bit confused, but in the end just turn and decide the best thing to do is just put the head down and rumble forwards, which they do. And Garcia then to Cantona. And they're still building the phases, still building the momentum, looking for the opportunities. Meryn Doidge with the carry. And Poppy Leach then with the tip on to Hunt. And she's done well to hold on to that pass there. Gone backwards a little bit, but keeping hold of the ball, the most important thing. And Garcia again to Delgado, and that's much better from the Chiefs. A leg drive there from Delgado, but the ball is spilt in contact. And Loughborough then with the opportunity to get their hands back on the ball, and they're looking blind again. Little goose step and a show and go. And the ball then back out to Scarrett, and she's seen space in behind again. Garcia chasing the ball, it's bounced, and Alejandro is racing through. The ball evades them both and goes into touch deep in the Chiefs' 22. Another really good probing kick there from Emily Scarrett. You'd expect nothing less from her. And the pressure really is again then back on the Chiefs here. And back on Taylor's international teammate Emily Totosi for the line out. But there's a stoppage first though with another Chiefs player down on the far side. It's Laura Sheehan that's down receiving treatment, try scorer in that first half. And actually Taylor, obviously Sheehan's back up on her feet and that's great to see, but just that quick stoppage there just to check for the injury, it's probably going to help Chiefs just regain their thoughts, regather themselves before this line out with a little under 10 minutes remaining in this match now, and it really hanging on the knife edge.
Definitely possession's everything right now, so making sure that we're playing smart.
And it's confirmation then of that Loughborough change. It's Gillian Balk that's come onto the field for them. Vastly experienced prop. It's a good line out then from Chiefs. And they set the maul, and Robinson then with the box kick. It's straight down the channel of Vistason. And she feeds Rowland, and she's stepping around, weaving around, trying to find a space. And eventually tackled and works her way to ground. Lark Davis steps in then as first receiver, and another carry from Vistason. A great little drive there from the back. And Lark Davis again on the ball. Loughborough probing, looking for the opportunities, looking for the space. Emily Scarrett steps in, show and go on Rachel Johnson, but she's tackled second time round by Laura Delgado. And Loughborough go the other way then, back to Tatisha Harper. She's met well by Linda van der Velden. And eventually she is shoved to ground as Rowland then on the ball. And it's just held onto by Becky Noon. No respite here for the Chiefs' defence. Dalika Menon looking menacing again. Surely she was held there on the ground, but the referee says it's fine and play on as she rolls her way up into the 22. And Loughborough again then with ball in hand as Scarrett with an inside ball to Rowland. And Rowland then looks for space, ducks back inside. The Chiefs now with an opportunity just to regather themselves. The ball slightly slowed there as Lark Davis with another dummy. Garcia reads it well. Tatisha Harper pops it off to Bork. And there's an advantage. Is there? No, it's gone backwards, says the referee. For another scruffy pass. And Loughborough, though, still setting themselves. Still in a really promising position here. And the Chiefs' defence races up to meet them. But there's another great leg drive in the tackle. Still looking a threat here, the visitors. Probing that Chiefs defence, looking for opportunities, and Zachary races up on Scarrett, makes the tackle, had to make that one there. And Harper again, this time uses a dummy, and it's another strong carry, but Laura Delgado meets her well, almost manages to rip the ball. And Tatisha Harper, this time she is used as the ball carrier. And the ball goes out the back to Rowland, to Scarrett on the wraparound. That's clever play there by the two England players. And Scarrett works her way to ground. Lark Davis. Is it again? It's Dalika Menin with another brilliant carry, looking to free the arms for the offload, but it wasn't coming. They're easing their way up towards the Chiefs' 5 metre line here, the visitors. Still pressing, still probing with two Chiefs subs, but Chiefs have below me. The Chiefs have turned the ball over, and they had an opportunity. Zachary looked to free the hands in contact, but it was a knock-on. We'll come back though for a Chiefs free kick from that initial knock-on. Bit of respite there. Let's see what they do here. The sensible option would be just to hoof this one into touch, get themselves out of the red zone. Just have a little bit of time off here again, just with Zachary receiving a few running repairs, nothing really in it in terms of a serious injury. Taylor, we're waiting, there's 5 minutes or so to go. Below us we can see Michaela Roberts waiting to come on. We can see Meg Davis waiting to come on as well. Both of them really young players, but they really add something when they come onto this Chiefs team as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do. You know that Meg's going to bring the speed back into the game at scrum half, and Michaela, you can rely on her for those big carries in the second half when people are starting to get tired. So they're great players to have on the bench ready to come on.
And here is that first sub then. And so there is Meg Davies then making her way onto the field. And it's Flo Robinson making her way off. Another impressive performance by the young England scrum half, and Michaela Roberts makes her way onto the pitch as well for the Chiefs. Round of applause for Robinson as she makes her way off. And it's Sachi Kato that is coming off for the Chiefs as well. Another strong showing from the Japanese prop. Just with those two players coming on, an opportunity for the Chiefs to add a little bit more spark into the game of some fresh legs. Zachary then and a change as well, one final change for the Chiefs, which is Rachel Johnson coming off the pitch to be replaced by Abby Fleming. So 3 changes there for Susie Appleby's side as we restart from a Chiefs free kick. And it's a bouncing ball, and it's picked up by Loughborough. It doesn't find touch, and they'll be able to go straight back onto the attack. Visterson then to Scarrett, and Scarrett then round Sheehan. She's pulled down then at the second attempt by the Irish winger. Great trap back work from her, but Loughborough straight back onto the attack here. Bork then with the carry. And the ball spun wide, and there is an opportunity there, but they couldn't quite free the hands. And Kate Zachary then looks to hold up Lark Davis in the tackle and create the maul. Has she been able to do it? Yes, she has. Brilliant work there from the centre. And Taylor, she might be playing at 13 today, but you can really see all of that experience of Zachary as a seasoned back rower there with that play.
Oh yeah, it looks almost natural. She's got her sevens, past and present, and she's really comfortable out there making those open field tackles, and we're always happy to give her ball in space whenever we can, being one of the fastest girls on the field.
And the Chiefs then will have the scrum. First opportunity then for Michaela Roberts to make a presence for herself at scrum time after coming onto the pitch. And Meg Davis then with her first put-in of the match for her side. Solid scrum from both teams. Loughborough though really managing to turn the screw on the Chiefs. They're really marching their way forward here. Chiefs have got to try and get the ball out. And the ref said play on, but they've managed to get it out just about in the end. And Garcia then has to tidy up the ball and eventually makes her way to ground. And Chiefs then will play with Meg Davis with the pass from the back of the ruck. just setting themselves, just being patient here, which is what they need to do. Just to try and ease their way down here against a superb Loughborough defence and a Loughborough attack when they've had ball in hand that's looked so threatening in this second half. There's free ball though, says the referee. But Chiefs have managed to just hold on to that there. It's crucial for them, really important there. There's McKinley Hunt with the carry. 1 minute, the call from the team. It's just about playing it sensible now. Meryn Doige holds on to that brilliantly there and actually makes a superb little inside dart up towards her own 10-metre line. Chiefs then have just got to be sensible, just got to wind the clock, but the ball's been worked wide to Sheehan instead, and Sheehan then with a great initial burst past Allianz, and she's up to halfway, but she's been guilty of holding on, and it's an opportunity for Loughborough then from the penalty to boot their way down into the Chiefs' half and set up another attacking opportunity. And Rowland then with the kick, that finds touch 35 metres or so out from the Chiefs' line, but another attacking opportunity for Loughborough. And in the grand scheme of things, this is such an important play for both teams. Loughborough searching for a losing bonus point, Chiefs trying to hold them out. There's a lovely line out there from the visitors, and Rowland has to just step to take that ball, but she's done well and pass it off to Scarrett. There's another carry there. I thought it was Menon over the ball, and the ball is worked out there to Rowland and to Jones with the carry. And to Tisha Harper then as first receiver. Roberts with the tackle on her. Chiefs all over it, but Loughborough hold on to it. A bit of a daisy cutter of a pass, but they hold on. There's Scarrett, and she's passed it on to Noon, who's managed to feed Alejandro, but it's a brilliant tackle on her. And Scarrett then with a pick and go from the base of the ruck, but she's hit hard by the Chiefs, and they're all over it, but it's a Loughborough penalty. Loughborough penalty not releasing the call from the Chiefs, and you wonder what Loughborough will do here. They're going for the corner. Solid kick there from Rowland, and they'll have a line out 10 metres out from the Chiefs' line. Chiefs look to contest, but in the end Loughborough said it well, and they search for the maul, and they get setting and rumbling towards the Chiefs line, and they're getting ever closer, they're inching ever closer, they're playing with a penalty advantage. They go to the blind side, and Helena Rowland then, has she managed to get the ball down with a little show and go? She thinks she has. Referee then in consultation with his assistant referee, and the try has been given for Loughborough in the corner, so they will get something out of this game. 17-12 the score then here with Scarrett's conversion to come. Taylor, we've seen those dancing feet of Rowland all day long, and she got her reward in the end there, going down the blind side with that penalty advantage.
Yeah, that was some great footwork by Rowland, and it kind of all stemmed from their maul. We knew that was going to be a threat from the beginning. I mean, their hook doesn't have 18 tries just from running full field tries. It's their maul that's so strong at the end, so I think we really got sucked into that, and then allowed Rowland to dance around us there at the end.
And we expect this will be the final passage of the game then. Emily Scarrett to line this one up from out wide for her side. Just drifts wide from the outside centre, and there's the full-time whistle from the referee. It's a win for Exeter Chiefs, the first win over Loughborough Lightning, and back to winning ways. 17-12 victory then, but for Loughborough, that losing bonus point there right at the end, how crucial may that be when it comes to the final shake-up at the end of the season? We'll have to wait and see. Taylor, though, a really good performance again from the Chiefs. We saw that determination and that physicality in attack in the first half, and in the second half, bit of a backs-to-the-wall defensive display with Loughborough really coming out firing and really coming back into that match.
Yeah, Loughborough, we knew they were going to threaten our breakdowns, and you could really see it there in the second half. We couldn't let any lone runners go up by themselves. Like they they were going to get all over the ball as soon as they could, and you could really see it there. We struggled to keep possession there in the second half, and Loughborough really did put on a show for us.
It is a win for Chiefs though, and another fantastic effort from the side. Who stood out for you today there, Taylor?
I'd have to say, I mean, Scarrett did a great job probing us, kind of kicking behind the line when she could, and every time you gave her space, she took advantage of it. On the Chiefs side, it was awesome to see Kate do so well at 13, as well as Flo carry us forward at 9 there. She did a great job.
And as we said, obviously that's a first victory over Loughborough for Exeter Chiefs. The league will now take a short break for a couple of weeks with Six Nations fixtures starting up, that abridged Six Nations format for this year. And for England fans watching and listening in, obviously all of those games are going to be streamed on BBC iPlayer, with that placings final at the end live on BBC Two, which means more terrestrial coverage for the women's game, which is fantastic to see. Chiefs will be back in action then on the 17th of April with a first trip to fellow newcomers this season, Sale Sharks, before another break will then see them round off the season at home to Gloucester Hartpury. Thank you very much to everybody for joining us today. Thank you to Taylor for joining me and providing your insight, and hopefully the injury recovery is as speedy as possible so we can see you back out on the pitch soon. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Chiefs official channels, as I said earlier, and keep your eyes peeled on social media for post-match reaction and the match reports coming later on this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we will see you again for the next one.